Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. Quick reminder, the new items are available on the merch store. Just went live this week. Check it out, atlamerch.com. Now with that said, we've been up here a couple different times before. We're up in Hesperia, California. There's a builder out here with a small little 4-man team building some of the most extraordinary off-road vehicles out there. But he's not limited to off-road. He also deals with hot rods, which is why we're here today. So I'm gonna bring in my friend Rob Lindsay to introduce him to you. And we are at RJ Fabrication. So Rob, come on in.
What's up, buddy? How are you, my friend? It's been a minute.
Rob has a YouTube channel that really, you do a great job documenting what you guys do up here. There's a vehicle that they did recently. They just released a video on it, but I highly recommend, and we will at some point do a shoot of that Willys.
Absolutely.
But you guys need to see this thing because it's a total freak show. So with that said, we got a 64 Chevelle.
64 Chevelle.
This is you guys 100%, right? Nobody else's hands on this car?
The paint, we still sub the paint out, so. But stuff like that,
Yes.
paint and upholstery is the only thing that we don't do. We do everything.
Yeah, was it a decent one when you got it, or
It wasn't bad. It's a desert car, so it wasn't bad. It did have rest at the bottom of the doors, you know, the typical stuff that you see a little bit in the quarter panels, you know, at the back of the window where it wraps around at the bottom to the tail panel where it just holds water right there.
So typical stuff, but not like where you have to replace every.
We ended up putting quarter panels on it because we did find some damage after we blasted the car.
You were starting to explain it off camera, the platform for this car.
Yeah, so the frame is basically from the door handles forward is the stock frame. Detroit Speed and Engineering, rack and pinion kit, you know, front suspension, JRI shocks, but it has an inner frame. We didn't want to put a roll cage in this car, but we wanted the chassis to be really stiff. So we did our own inner frame rails that ties to the rear section of the frame that we made ourselves. But the cool thing about the rear section of the frame is it has factory geometry. Like we have DSC swivel links in the rear, which I love them, they're badass. If the car ever took a hit, he can put another one on. He doesn't have to have a custom link made. Like we didn't want to push him into the area where everything was so custom. You couldn't put an airbag kit on it later if you wanted to for some reason. You could put a ride tech kit on it. You could put, you know, Global West arms on it. You could put stock arms on it.
You don't get it. It's one of my favorite things is how much thought you put into the engineering of a vehicle for drivability, also serviceability, to create ultimately a new rear end for the car where pick whatever you want. Anyone that sells an off-the-shelf mounts to stock points, you're good, you're covered.
Absolutely.
It's handled.
And speaking of the rear end, the cool thing that we kept a 12 bolt. We wanted to keep a 12 bolt in it being a GM car. When we narrowed it, we used big bearing Ford housing heads. So now we don't have to have the C-clip axle that GM had factory. And we have the big set 20 bearing, the tapered roller bearing, so it handles coring loads way better. It's just a better package all the way around. It's a big 3.150 OD bearing. It's,
If you guys know what he's saying right now, good on you, man. All right, let's pop the hood. Let's talk power and other stuff, because now we get a sense of what the rear end is. Slick.
Just clean and simple, Sean. Like I didn't want to get ultra crazy, so just built some nice inner fenders that the hood hinges. These are Eddie Motorsports hood hinges that recess into that area right there. This keeps it clean. They have drain holes in them if it ever gets any water or anything in it.
And I'm guessing these are purposeful vents?
Air filters. For the air intake,
Oh, really?
Yep, so I wanted to do 2 air filters with just a nice clean, you know, Ram style horn, smooth out the firewall, Willwood brake master cylinder obviously, and a GM 525 horse LS3, just
and a straight up 525, no build to it. So you're 450-ish tire.
Let's dynoed it for us and tuned it for us, but it made like a 392 to the rear wheel, which is appropriate amount. You know, parasitic loss on a 4070 transmission, you know, rear end, power steering, alternator, all that stuff, you're almost 25% parasitic loss actually.
In my opinion, for a street car, when you're in that 400 to 550 at the tire, super fun car. You can mount the throttle. You want to spin tire? Yeah, you can do that.
You can spin them on command in this thing.
You can do that. You know, you can. And I love, it's one of my favorite parts again with you guys is I can see how removable everything is. You've thought through serviceability while making it look attractive.
And also we thought to the future on this one. The reason that we didn't dress this engine out and get super crazy with it, I really have a very good feeling the client's gonna want some more horsepower. Because it's 400 horsepower, you're gonna get accustomed to that pretty quickly. And you always want more. So the reason we did what we did is, and just left this thing alone is, we'll pull it, We'll probably do a different camshaft in it. We'll have Maruzi do his supercharger cam in it, and we'll put the exact same supercharger that's sitting on that engine over there. We already measured it out. It fits the Magnuson supercharger with the front inlet like that. And so this ram horn will just get modified to go up to the inlet up here. We already measured, we'll have 250 thousandths below the hood. Like we've already figured it all out.
By the way, I'm so glad you said this, partially because I love you way too much to say like, that car looks so bitchy.
Car looks good. Why didn't you?
Why not
drop the ball over here, bro?
Give me some fucking valve covers or something.
I get it, but I have a feeling we're going to be pulling all that off pretty quickly.
Probably pretty quickly.
I think so.
Yeah. You said the 12 bolts also, you've narrowed it a bit?
Yeah, we narrowed it because this car has a 345/30/19 tire on the back. Yeah, it's good.
Definitely needs more power.
It does.
345.
I know. It could use more big brakes, big wheels and tires all the way around. So, but we have a strange S track. It's the Detroit True Track, but it actually it's made with billet pieces, so it's a little bit stronger.
So you're thinking through that stuff again, knowing that you're probably going to put more power to it, so you don't have to now go deal with the trans, deal with the rear end, deal with the act. I think we have a 390 rear gear and 35 spline axles, so it can handle the power that we're going to address. I got you. And your manual brakes on here?
Manual brakes. Yeah. But if you do your ratios properly, this thing will put you through the windshield. And no power.
A lot of you guys need to listen up on this one, because this is another point of contention oftentimes, is people have driven manual brake cars before, ratios weren't right, valving wasn't right, and so no matter how hard you're pushing, you're never quite getting enough braking. And I can think of a couple cars that I've experienced that way. Now I've also jumped in ones that are full manual, the lightest amount of touch, I got plenty of brake here.
Good braking.
Plenty of brake.
Yep. For people listening on touching base on that, like Willwood is very helpful. Right. Like Mike at Willwood's so knowledgeable. Like if you're not understanding the square inch area of the piston and what size master cylinder you need, he'll explain that stuff to you and tell you, okay, you're gonna need a 7/8 is gonna work proper with 3.91 square inches of brake caliper piston area. So
you mentioned the tire size. Let's talk wheels and tires here.
Yeah, you can tell when you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like it's got a deep dish, but you still can't even see all the tire. It's low enough.
Not
you
even
just
close.
Can't see it.
No. There's at least a few inches completely and totally not showing.
Yeah, it's always good not to show all your inches.
What are the wheels and tires and sizes and stuff?
So we got Budnick Spiders, if I remember correctly. Forgive me if that is incorrect, because it's been a long time, but I think they're Budnick Spiders. We have brush barrels, titanium faces. We have a 19 by 12 in the rear with a 345/30/19 tire on it. I like to stagger my wheels, so we have an 18 by 9 in the front, and we have a 275/35/18 on the front.
Full lock to lock, no problem.
Yep, no rubbing, no issues.
It's always a funny one for me with white cars. Some cars to me just don't look good in white. This car looks really good. Like, I know it's not as simple as it looks. I've learned it actually that the more simple it looks, the more simple it is.
The simpler it appears, the harder it probably was to build.
But it's really a simple, elegant, clean.
It is, and I'm not overly a fan of white too. White are just cars that you buy off the lot, in my opinion. When the client wanted to go white, I was like, okay. And so we talked with the painter, and Oz from Wasp Performance painted this, and he said, let me just put a hint of pearl. Enough that you can't tell unless the light hits it just right. He said, yep, we're on the same page, 100%. And
Exhaust-wise, what have you done from engine back?
Just 3-inch stainless exhaust the whole way.
That you guys build in-house probably, right?
Yeah, and I apologize because I don't remember what mufflers we put on this one. It's been a minute since I've been under, but I think they're Flowmaster 40 Series 2 chamber.
How long has this project been for you?
We started this thing like 7 years ago. It's amazing how long it takes. And we've actually had the car completed for about 1.5 years. The client just had no push. He just said, hey, just work on it when you have some free time. Don't stress. And so it wasn't a rush to get this one done.
No, I get it.
And we were doing little things like the door handles were chrome, the mirrors were chrome. So I got with Dave at SoCal Cerakote, and we changed like the windshield wipers, and we got rid of the rest of the chrome. Yeah. So we call it the Stormtrooper car now because it's all black and white.
And all the door handles, mirrors, is this stock stuff?
It's not like new old stock, like, the good stuff, but
like it's
repops. You get it from Classic Industries or OPG.
Sure. You really kept it though. It's like there's no losing touch with what the car is.
We didn't want to change it so much that it was, you didn't know it was a 64 Chevelle right out of the gate. Sure. Like I didn't want to do insane custom stuff to the taillight. We did some stuff in this area right here and blocked a lot of stuff out, and all this actually had to get handmade. This was one of the sections I actually forgot about earlier when you asked me about it. All this was rotted out, both taillight areas. So we actually just handmade all that stuff. And you can't tell because the fuel cell's recessed, but it has 55 gallons of fuel. I wanted this guy to be able to go to Vegas in this thing and come home. We wanted to give it a good amount of fuel. So
55
gallon aluminum cell in the back of this thing. Yeah, under the floor.
This isn't an off-road truck, brother.
No, I know. But I just think, let's give him some fuel. Let's give him some range.
A lot of weight to the ground out back.
Yep. And then
slick.
This is the fuel filler, obviously, where it was factory. But I like to put my charging posts here. And you can jump the car here. There's 2 gauge to here.
That's where I think a lot of your off-road stuff comes into play is you guys, everything has to be on the fly, serviceable. I like that you bring it into the hot rod community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of times people don't think about that. And so you're pulling a panel and hooking up to the battery and that's fine. But
it works. It's just, you just start wearing on some of the stuff. So I just find it easier just to leave it all in place. And, the stereo system and the battery and all that's hidden behind that panel here.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to see the interior. It looks, just from back here, it looks really beautiful. Those are heavy ass doors.
Yeah, 1964 right there.
Plus you probably got a bunch of sound deadening in this car.
We do, but we don't, I'm not a fan of lining every square inch with Dynamat. I put 2 small patches on the doors.
This is really bitchin'. I'm usually, just on a personal note, I'm typically not a tan interior guy. This
Neither am I.
is really beautiful.
Well, when the client said he wanted to go tan, I wasn't sure about it. And so we broke it up with some black here and there, and it actually flows pretty good.
It worked really well.
It actually looks really good. Rudy's insane about shaping upholstery and shaping the seats and doing all, he hand built all the door panels and everything. Rudy's phenomenal when it comes to that stuff.
What's his shop called?
Rudy's Custom Upholstery. We added AC, so we actually welded these pieces on, because they didn't come factory with AC right there. And then the vents in the center console. And then there's 2 vents for the passenger in the back. So the back passengers get AC too. 50 gallons of fuel, decent amount of horsepower, and 3 of your buddies heading to Vegas. That's what this car's about.
Let's go. Whoa! Road trip! So this is still all stock dash? Or
the dash is stock. We covered it with Alcantara, but these are Speed Hut gauges. And then this is a panel. I can't remember where we got that panel from, and it's plastic, and if I had to redo it all over again, I would just shape it out of aluminum. Makes a little bit of noise here and there. I'm not overly happy with it, let's just say that. Sean, honestly, I don't know if you want to put this in the video or not, but it's a genuine brand new piece of shit is what it is. And then we got to go in and modify the heck out of it, and they sell it for like $600. It wouldn't hold the weight of the gauges. The key switch assembly just started spinning in the thing. It doesn't have the right little notch in it to keep it from spinning. It's like, come on, guys.
And now you have
piece
to
of
modify
crap,
it to do what it should have done.
Yeah, that's just general car building. Most things that you buy nowadays work pretty good, but ultimately there are some guys out there producing some stuff that they shouldn't be producing, in my opinion.
Oh, this is beautiful though. Did you guys build the whole center console, Rob?
Yeah, we handmade the center console, and then Rudy covered it for us.
Does it light here tell you what gear you're in?
Yep.
That's slick.
And then it has the bump shifter from Low Car, which is a super cool shifter. So, you put it in drive and it just drives automatically like a normal car, but if you click it off to the right, you can upshift and downshift. So it's pretty cool.
It works actually?
Yeah, it works really good, yeah. Suede headliner.
Again, dude, I know what it's like when it looks simple. It's not, but I like the appearance of the simplicity of this vehicle. It's very much OEM plus. You know what I mean? It's not one-off bonkers like you have the ability to do.
Yeah, we can do that. I wanted this to be a driver. I wanted Troy to enjoy this with his friends.
Totally, dude.
It's pretty crazy.
Well,
like
let's go drive
brand new newer car. Yeah, let's go drive this thing.
Man. Let's go get this thing on the road. Yeah, this is beautiful, man. It's really a funny...
I got like a little squeak right here. I got to find it, but it's this piece of shit dash. I know it is.
Yeah.
And it still has wind wings and all the windows rubbers, but still you can hear air coming in. It's a 1964 Chevelle still.
Sure, man.
At the end of the day, but...
but right away you can tell the car just drives great, dude. It's the first thing that always captures me is how does a car sit on the road? power, you tell me 700 horsepower, I kind of get an idea of what to expect. You tell me 525, I know what to expect. You can talk about the suspension and the chassis. You don't know what to expect until you sit down and start driving along, you know? And I mean, right away, I'm comfortable driving one hand.
It's just a nice
cruising.
driver. Yeah. This thing's a nice driver.
Yeah, this is a slick car, dude. It's a really funny one for me with tan interiors too, and I know you and I agree on it.
I'm not a fan normally, but it grew on me. Like it doesn't bother me having tan interior in here now.
And especially from in here looking out, the tan plays well with the white.
Yep.
They're very complementary to each other. I love that there was some, call it not agreeing along the way, and then in the end when you guys did some of the things that he wasn't maybe thinking or envisioning, and then in the end that he loves the car.
I think that when you're not involved with the build the whole way through, and I know he saw pictures of it the whole way, but our communication was pretty light.
Yeah.
I communicated with Brad, his father, mostly.
Yeah.
And then once he saw it in person, he's just like, oh my gosh, I love it.
So great. This is just such an enjoyable car, dude.
Yeah.
Like as far as just being able to get in and drive it down the road, it's not doing anything weird. It's tracking super straight. You know, you can just let go and it's cruising.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're probably comfortable in it right out of the get-go. It's a
right
comfortable car.
Even the way you sit in here.
Yep.
What are these seats?
These are Scat Pro Cars recovered by Rudy.
Oh, that's what these are.
Yeah.
But this thing's just set up nicely, and it's like, you know, if you don't, let's be honest, if you're just cruising, you're being aware of what you're doing, you're probably okay with a low back seat and a lap belt. You know, you're probably going to be just fine.
You drive these cars, your senses are heightened. These aren't the car where you just practically fall asleep while you're driving in. It's just not that kind of a car.
No, it's not. This is something you want to be aware
You're
all
very aware.
the time.
Yep.
But that being said, it does everything right, dude. I mean, even the braking, because I personally love manual brakes, except for when they're not right.
When they're not right.
And I've experienced not right manuals.
Yep.
Now you're frustrated because you're just banging on the brakes and you just ain't getting them.
Yep.
The other thing I dig, it stood out to me right away. You ever been in automatic transmission cars where they don't shift in the right places?
Yep.
They either go bap, bap, bap. You know, it's like, well, no, I don't want you to shift that fast, or they're hanging on forever. It's like, nah, but I want you to shift.
No, we programmed this one with the Holly to shift at the points we wanted it to shift at. So
and then so probably the more you dig in, it's going to hold the RPM higher.
Yep. The Terminator Max can adjust all that. So
got it. Oh shit, dude. Oh shit. Oh shit. I knew your level of we'll just go mild would be different than mine.
We're just cruising. We're just cruising.
This thing handles.
It handles good.
Shit, this car handles.
The steering wheel's a little big for my liking, but that's okay. It matches what the car is. So
yeah, I'm with you. I would love a smaller wheel, a little bit thicker on it, but you know what? It's bitching. So good, dude.
It's just smooth and
impressive.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but fuck anyone that says 525 ain't enough horsepower. Come on.
We dipped down a little bit right there. I'm wondering if we're low on fuel. I was wondering about that. Did you feel the power dip down and then come back in?
I don't know. I was over here smiling. It's the truth, dude. Horsepower is just so cool. It just is. I sure like horsepower, man.
It's just fun.
well built. You know it all works. It's all doing what it's supposed to. It's just such a cool thing, man. What's the rev limiter set at?
6, but I have a little delay in the shifter too, but also I'm not used to it. It keeps pulling so linear that I don't know it's time to shift. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I'm not really used to the car, so
Yeah, sure.
that just taught me right there. Just shift right at about 5,900 because of a little bit of a shift delay.
Right,
And
so
then
by the
it'll
time
be-
it makes the shift,
Yeah,
you're just before
yeah.
the limiter, sure.
And just same thing, the client will learn these things about the car, you know, as
Sure,
they're, yeah.
sure. Yeah, but they all have their nuances and tendencies, and
Yep.
what do you got? Maybe a couple hundred miles of driving this car?
Yeah, I've driven around a little bit, more at the quarantine cruise. We have 121 miles on it right now.
Yeah,
So,
not a lot of seat time.
yeah. And a lot of that's just cruising around, making
Sure.
sure everything works right, making sure it drives right.
Sure.
But that's my favorite thing about this car, dude. You're just cruising, you know, just going through the dips. It doesn't bottom out. It doesn't do weird
Doesn't
stuff.
get
It just-
lift. It's not.
Yep.
No, dude, this car's.
Yep.
This is such a proper build.
It's a well sorted. That's what I'm saying. I think it's probably one of the nicest hot rods I've ever built. And I know it's understated looking. Just looks like a chill lowered '64 Chevelle, but
I mean, it really does. Honestly, it
like
looks
you
like
can't tell it has a 345 on the rear, dude. That's big.
you don't
That's
even
a
notice it
huge
until you
tire.
actually squat a little bit, or
Yep.
the car's got enough distance from you. Yeah, man.
What was that you just pressed in this?
Put it in sport mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Or does
so
that just
that's
allow you to-
regular.
Okay.
That it just automatically shifts.
Uh huh.
Sport mode, downshift to first.
Sick. Oh shit! I didn't know you were gonna do that. Holy
Thought I'd
shit!
give you a little bit of fun while we're here.
Fuck.
Well, another great time hanging out with my buddy Rob. You know, what him and his crew do, I mean, the idea that it's 4 guys that knock all this work out, and this is one of many wonderful vehicles they've built, which, by the way, watch out for the Jeep Willys. That one will be coming. But this, in my opinion, that's a perfect street car, man. It does everything you want it to do, even a kick-ass burnout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, I say thanks for hanging and watching, man. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, you guys. Later.